What if I told you that much, if not most, of the power you see in the world today, especially upon the world stage where all of the attention is stolen power, and you just might be feeding it without even realizing it? You see, power isn't something that you're simply handed or born with. It's something you cultivate or you take from others. The truth is, power is not what you've been taught, and real power, true power, is not about taking. It's something that is built up over time from within yourself. And in this video, I'm going to show you the difference. Hello my friends, my name is Logan Hart, and welcome to the Wizard Factory channel. This channel is all about giving you the spiritual tools and mindsets to bring more freedom, purpose, and empowerment on your journey. So as I've just said, this video is all about power. And why is this important? Because without power, you have no ability to create the life that you desire. I feel like power gets a bad rap these days because we think of things like government, politicians, or even things like cartels, mafias, gangs, that sort of power. But the reality is, those people actually don't have any real power. So I wanted to make this video to clarify the distinction between true power and false power and why that's important. As I said earlier, real power isn't something you're born with. It's something you cultivate over time. It takes a lot of hard work and expansion of yourself as a being. Yes, we all have some innate power that's just a part of who we are, but think about it. Are most people in their power? Are they living in that power? I don't think so. They're actually cut off from that power, or they don't even believe that exists. They see themselves as powerless, which is why they look to those, often the worst of people, to make them feel empowered through arbitrary rituals such as voting, for example. And power is something that I work every day in my own life to cultivate because I too felt very powerless, helpless, insignificant in my younger days. And I'd like to share some ways how anyone can step into their power both from a mindset and from a practical perspective as well. So in this video, I hope to shed light on clarifying the different types of power, how to be empowered yourself, and some actionable steps that you can take. So make sure you stick with me to the end. I promise it'll be worth your time. If this message is resonating with you already, please drop down and hit that like button real quick. It really helps the channel grow. I'm very excited to be back making content again after being very slow last year. But now that I've launched my new Rune course, which I will talk more about at the end of this video, I'm fully focused on coming back with consistent, high-quality content and continuing to help others share in some of the things that I've learned that have benefited me greatly. So thank you for being here, and let's get into it. Alright, so like I said, there are ultimately two ways to gain power, two sources of power, if you will. Only one of them is actually true, authentic power. And that is deriving power from within yourself. The other is to take power from others, which is not real power because only those who are truly powerless within themselves would ever need to do that. So I'd like to start by the first point of externally sourcing power through force or vampirism. So the most obvious way, and what many people might think of first, is through the iron fist, right? Just overtly forcing, coercing people into submission to get their way, to control people's behavior in some way. And ultimately, this is what government does. When you strip away all of the euphemisms, the formalities, the rituals, and the ostensible purposes, when you get right down to the essence, government is violence in everything that it does. And ultimately, this constitutes slavery by definition. The problem with this is over time, it erodes people's morale and they will eventually revolt. They get tired of being told what to do. They get tired of their freedoms being taken away. The only way to even maintain this is through extensive and very prolonged mind control, attrition of a person's sense of self, their self-worth, and their own sense of power as well. So again, this is why people vote for politicians. This is why people obsess with celebrities, because they are seen as the stars, right? They have the light, they have the power, because we are viewing ourselves as nothing, insignificant, inconsequential. And so this power structure, this grid, this matrix is maintained through clandestine energy harvesting, right? This is the sneaky part of mind control and these so-called elites keeping their power through things like news and media, right? Mind control, staged events and disasters, outrage politics, right? It's always just this feeding frenzy of one thing after another. You scroll your news feed in social media these days, and there's no shortage of energy draining going on. Just everything vying for you to care, put your energy into something that ultimately does not matter. They are counting on that. And if that's not enough, many people even continue to perpetuate and create more drama in their own personal lives. These kind of people simply are trying to feed an insatiable addiction. They're caught in an unconscious feedback loop and giving their energy to this egregore, this demonic parasite, if you will. Then at even deeper and darker level, in these structures, these institutions, you have all sorts of really horrific things going on. Satanic ritual abuse, trauma-based mind control. These things are very real and they're going on all the time. But you see, these are the links that these people have to go to maintain power and control when they are cut off from their own source of power, which we'll get into here in just a minute. Then, of course, you have cultural manipulation, normalizing sickness, social engineering, the manufacture of popularity, trends, fads, these sort of things. These are all used to condition and control human behavior on a mass scale in a way that highly disempowers the individual and exploits them for another's gain. Often somebody that they can't even see, that's so far behind the scenes, that's benefiting from this. What about the education systems that incentivize and program obedience, compliance, and conformity over true individual expression and creativity? These things are absolutely detrimental to the human spirit, and it's been going on for a very long time. Multi-generational, each one more enslaved than the next. An economic system that maintains artificial scarcity to keep people in a survival mindset at all times. What do you think scarcity mindset does to a person's empowerment? Even things like social media, sports, celebrity fiascos, all these sort of things that are constantly going on that keep people enthralled in ultimately things that do not improve one's life whatsoever. It is a constant drain of their life force, energy, their creativity, manifestation. So you get the idea, right? We are absolutely surrounded in all directions, bombarded on a daily basis with all of these different constructs vying for your attention, vying for your energy that don't serve you. They serve the system and those who are at the top, where all of that life force flows upwards, siphons up to them. But the one thing that system is designed to do above all else is to keep you from knowing the truth of who you are and how fucking powerful you actually are, what you are truly capable of, what your potential is, what your purpose is. They want you too distracted, too defeated, too demoralized, and ultimately apathetic and cowardly to ever take responsibility for your own life and understand that you are choosing that slavery every step of the way. And just as easily, you can choose to let it go. You can choose to not go along with it and not give it your energy. When I say easily, I understand it's not easy, but the choice itself is easy. We're choosing slavery every day. We can just as easily choose the alternative. But then you have to be willing and ready to take on the consequences of that. So what is the real, true source of power? Something that we all actually have access to, but you have to understand how reality operates. You have to understand who you really are. The thing that makes us so special, so powerful, is our connection to Source. You can call it God, you can call it the universe, you can call it your higher self. It doesn't really matter. You have that connection to something that is permeating the entire universe, that has an intelligence far beyond anything we can even imagine. And we can tap into that at any time. The next most important way that we can tap into our own innate power is by understanding natural law as a framework for everything that we do. When you understand universal principles, timeless truths, and the cause and effect dynamics of this realm, you are empowered exponentially to actually manifest different realities, different timelines, to navigate and to manifest whatever you desire. And ultimately, if you're not working with natural law, you're working against it, which is a losing battle every single time. And that's what we're seeing. That's what most people are caught in, this trap of working against the forces that cannot be changed, working against ourselves, working against the truth, that which is. It is the definition of insanity. But again, we don't have to choose that. The next way to cultivate power in your own life is through knowledge and skills. So knowledge, as I did talk about just now, that does include natural law, but this can include the esoteric and the exoteric. Learning anything about this reality, no matter how seemingly trivial, is going to be empowering in some way. And the more skills we have, the more we can be empowered in our own life, but of course we can share that value and that service with others, which will then be reciprocated. This is the spirit of entrepreneurism. Learn skills, learn how to solve problems, and that abundance and that value will come back to you. And in today's age, it's never been easier than it is now to learn how to do just about anything. You can watch a video and see step by step how just about anything is done, especially with things like AI, where you can ask it anything. There's just no excuse at this point. The next thing is being in touch with your own intuition, right? Being able to hear your own inner voice, communicate with that. You have to be able to silence your mind, silence all of the programming, the bullshit chatter, everything from other people, their own expectations that are imposed on you. All of that is drowning out one's own intuition. Then you have to learn how to silence all of that and tune into your own true voice. It's still there, even though maybe you've been telling it to shut up and sit in a corner for the last 2 or 3 decades. It never actually goes away. And you can get that back with a little bit of work and intention. And that is one of your single greatest assets in life. It's going to tell you which directions you should go, what your purpose is. what relationships are and aren't meant to be in your life. There's no end to the ways that this voice can benefit you. And I feel very grateful that I've always had a strong connection to this voice, and it has been one of my greatest allies in my life. What about your creativity? And this goes hand in hand with skills, right? The skill is just the medium, but the creativity, it can find its way through anything. When you have that online, it doesn't matter whether you pick up a paintbrush, a spatula, a guitar, a hammer, or a mouse and keyboard. It's infinite what you can do, what you can create. I'm creative every single day, and nothing makes me feel more alive, whether I'm making a new video or just improv jamming on my guitar. Those are the moments that I live for. And right now, almost everything that I'm doing in my life, with my career, my truck driving, everything is moving me towards a life where I can create more space for creativity. That is ultimately what I desire more than anything in life. And I feel like that is more or less pretty universal. Sure, someone who's really cut off from their creativity and intuition and all of that, they might think, oh, I don't care about that. But maybe that's not who they really are. Maybe they have no idea who they really are. And the more they connect with that, they might realize, wow, that is something that I would like to do. Next is the ability for manifestation. That is a skill just like anything else, but it's really difficult to teach step by step how to do that, because that's one of those things that you just have to be tapped into, that intuition, that creativity. You have to understand how the universe works so that you can understand cause and effect of how to create outcomes. A lot of that is purely intuitive. But that's the beauty. You don't need to be taught. You don't need to take a course or read a book. You just need to tap into that, and it will tell you exactly what to do. And so these things all really work together. The access and awareness of that inner voice, your vision and your will, applying the knowledge of natural law, cause and effect, and the ability to take inspired, aligned, competent, and moral action to manifest the life of your dreams, whatever you desire, and the courage and willpower to take that action. That is what's going to manifest the life of your design. So what are some daily practices that you can do, implement in your own life to cultivate, to bolster your own personal power? Simple things like meditation, breath work, journaling, even energy practices like Qigong. These all maintain your connection to Source. They quiet that monkey mind and allow you to tune in to your true inner vision and voice. Intention setting and visualization techniques are also extremely powerful when it comes to manifesting. Also, you better take inventory of the energetic forces in your life, whether it's another person or like a relationship, a friend or family member. Learn to recognize when something is a drain on your energy, something that's pulling you down and diminishing you. And perhaps most important of all, inner alchemy, shadow work, because those wounds that you're not dealing with will be your demise. They are the entry point for these mind control programs to slip in there and manipulate you and usurp your own creativity and desires. And I cannot stress enough the importance of self-accountability. This means admitting when you're wrong, even if to yourself, but to others as well. This was something I see so many people are simply incapable of doing. They'd like rather die than admit they were wrong, or that they didn't know something, or that they did something that they shouldn't have, or that they could have done something better. This is a critical area that we all need to be looking at within ourselves and figuring out, looking in the mirror and saying, am I part of the problem? And being honest about that. Stop lying to yourself. As long as that self-deception cycle keeps playing out, we are going to be stuck in the deepest slavery that you can possibly imagine, and it will only get worse. When they say the truth will set you free, that's not just some cute Hallmark card saying. That shit is real. So let's look at these two and sort of compare and contrast. Internal versus externally sourcing our power. One feeds the self, the other feeds on others like a parasite. So one is about growth, expansion, authenticity, self-actualization, all of the definitional characteristics of spirituality, to be an alive, divine, spiritual, awakened being. It is regenerative and expansive. It's self-sustaining, right? Perpetuates itself, onward and outward, the spiral, versus these external methods, which are unsustainable and depleting. Just like the vampire, it's always got to go out and feed. More, more, more. So who are you giving your power to? Are you supporting the parasite class? Whether through overt support of government or just playing along in the institutional gridworks of social media, programming, news, things like this. One is temporary, the other is eternal. Think about it, all the skills, the knowledge that you cultivate, the competence, the confidence, the manifestation, these things last. They stack on top of each other. The more empowered you get, the more empowered you become, and so on and so forth. But this life of vampirism, it is fleeting. So ask yourself, which path are you choosing? This is a daily question you got to ask yourself. One thing I like to say is, am I the sort of person that does this or this? Whether you're going to play a video game or make a new YouTube video. And when you really start tapping into that inner power, it becomes painfully aware where those drains are, because you feel it. It's like amplified. Those people in your life that you just feel after you've spent 10 minutes talking to them, or an hour doom scrolling on Facebook, and now you don't even want to get off the couch. And when you really notice those things, you're already one step closer to freeing yourselves, to breaking the chains of those things, of those forces. And when you commit to building your own personal strength through connection, clarity, intention, and alignment, you become the source of your own strength. And that's the kind of power that lasts a lifetime. So remember, power doesn't take, it creates. The choice is yours. If you're still here watching, thank you. I hope you got value out of this. Drop down, hit that like button, click the subscribe, join the community. Let me know down in the comments if you agreed with what I said, if you disagreed, if I missed something. Keep the conversation going. I'm going to be out of town next week doing some deep healing work, but I will be back as soon as possible to make some new content for you guys. I'm really going to stay on top of this. I'm so excited to be back and in the swing of this. I also wanted to take a moment to quickly announce the official launch of my Rune Shamanism course. You may have seen this here and there on social media. I tried to be as loud as possible during the early bird special, which is now over. However, you can still get Rune Shamanism. Lots of people are already raving about that. There are many beautiful testimonials up on the website. So if you want to read more about that, check out those testimonials. All of that is in the link down in the description below. So click that at the end of this video and do check that out. I really put a lot of work into that, and I'm very proud of the final product. And I truly think that anyone can benefit from learning about runes and beginning to use them in their daily practice to gain more clarity, guidance, empowerment, and manifestation, protection. I mean, there's so many ways to use runes. It is absolutely incredible, so do check that out. I do hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, you'll definitely like this one right here, because in it I share with you the master blueprint to mind control, how it works. It really takes some of the concepts that I talked about in this video and goes way more in depth, really giving you the bird's eye view of the control matrix, but most importantly, how to get out of it. So I'll see you there. Thank you and have a beautiful day. Until next time, be empowered, inspired, and encouraged.